We rented out the worst item ever. It was always
Collecting dust
breaking.
was not even profitable.
Must be bounce houses.
No! God, please, no! No!
Stop wasting the money.
On items that don't even go out.
So if you want to profit from your inventory,
I know I do. Stay tuned as we discuss how we purchase items that always go out.
and what items not to rent.
In this video, we're going to go over the 4 things that you need to watch out for when you're purchasing inventory. The biggest thing that we have right now that we have an issue with is high maintenance. You know that one girl that you always talk to?
Well, hold on.
No.
Trying to get me in trouble.
Which one?
Which
You know that one person back in high school was always high maintenance, and it never paid out.
Had to take her to the movies, got her nails done,
All that stuff.
out to eat, pay the full bill, not 50-50.
Then nothing came upon those transactions.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of like some of your items that you might have. You might be having items that you seem like you're always fixing. It's every time it comes out, it breaks, but you're only getting like $10, $20 of profit. You're probably like, I don't want to do this no more.
Me personally, I never really liked the bounce houses, and I think you and me are on the same boat on that.
Yeah.
Got a little quiet there. I hope so.
Sorry, I just brought back old memories. And before I met Eddie, I was like, I want to make sure I get items that are just low maintenance. Because that was one of the main reasons I got in here. I didn't want to be sitting here sending stuff at people's houses. I don't want to have to be getting in, blowing some bounce house up, cleaning it in the middle of the cold or the summer. I don't mind the summer. But even like sweating in the bounce houses, I got to clean that up, or having kids bleed all on them and also that. So like, then I met Eddie. And then he just started doing stuff. The next thing we had bounce houses, we had tents, we had subfloors. Like I started to learn more about these maintenance items and adjusting the cost to be able to work with it. What's a couple lists of high maintenance items?
The patio heaters, just because they're really not meant to be transported around like we do, but they just make such a large amount of money during the winter time that it makes sense to buy them. But with the transportation, it rattles around the place and bolts get loose. It gets a little banged up here, so you just got to always work on it pretty much almost every time it goes out, especially if you have other guys doing it, because sometimes they may not take as good a care of the item as you would, but the little thing gets dented up all the time, so you're always banging out dents or putting Loctite on screws and just making it looking presentable and working condition.
I think the most high maintenance items that we have, and I'm going to classify high maintenance as something basically when it returns, you have to do more than just basic cleaning, so or wipe down, or you can't just put it back out. But technically, a chair or a table, if it's not dirty, you can just put it back out and you can let it go. But the one thing I would say, actually, I'm gonna let y'all guess.
Cotton candy machine, popcorn machine.
No. That actually,
it's a lot of sugar and it's buttery and it's hard to clean off.
That's actually very interesting. I think you actually have a point on there, but I wasn't going to say that. But I think that's actually better than my answer, because that thing is terrible. You have to go in there and scrub it out. And I guess if we have the right tools, just not too into it. But when you think about it from your mindset, it is linens. I like a linens, but if you have to wash it and you have to iron it and you have to store it, like that's a lot of stuff you have to do. Like you can't just be on the fly by the night type of character, be doing linens on the high level.
Yeah, or you can do like that one company, they throw them away and they buy them brand new every single time.
But you still have to buy, maintenance of buying them. You have specific things that has to be done. Like when a tent goes out, not saying you have to clean a tent every single time, but most people who have a lot of tents generally bring the tents back and clean them and then store them and put them back up. That's kind of the process. And it's the same thing you do with like bounce houses. Like people want those bounce houses clean. They don't want to come in there and got toenail clippings bouncing around in there. Like you have to clean that stuff or people are not going to like it. Now, another hot take is that when hard surface items, not saying you need to do this, but like you can make it through without cleaning nothing, like a chair or table. Technically, you can just let it go. I think the tent guy was talking about this a long time ago, how he don't clean his chairs and stuff like that. When you actually think about it, if you can get the customer to agree on the price that they get paid back, it might be worth it for you, because realistically, 90% of people might not say nothing. Now, your quality of work is going to go down. People are going to be like, only rent with them if you just need a whole bunch of chairs and tables. People not going. Your reputation is going to get ruined eventually. If you want to go that way, let us know how it goes. So one of the main risks of having poorly selected equipment, and this goes to actually how you purchase them, because when we think about like the patio heaters, there's a certain patio heater that technically if we bought that could possibly have less maintenance in there because it's more set up for rentals. When we started farm tables, like that was a high maintenance item. Like I wish we need to show a photo of our old farm tables on here. And these farm tables Eddie made, don't hit them for nothing like that right here. But they worked, they made a lot of money, but they were so high maintenance. Like imagine every time you get someplace and you got to screw the legs on.
Regular screws.
Regular screw. And then when you screw in the legs on, you have to, like, you know what I'm saying? The legs are all not the same height. So you have to level it out on the ground and screw it on there. And you lifting, these tables are heavy. Like whatever you think your regular farm table, this table is at least 2 or 3 times more. And I think you have to do like 2 or 3, 4 screws, 2 on each side. So 4 screws.
I actually have someone who reviewed that farm table and they were not happy with it.
I actually dropped that off and I was like, we've been dropping these off. The main issue when we first got there, each one was different. And she wanted a certain look and stuff like that. So yeah. But then in the thing, I think she looked back at the thing and it was different. And that was our problem. That's the issue when you're just having your description doesn't match up. And that's a big lesson we learned at the very beginning. And that was tough right there. She got refunded.
She
but
did.
yeah.
I have a statistic today, and it says that one of the top 10 reasons for startups to fail is because they do not properly manage their inventory.
Even right now, we have a couple items that we're working on redoing.
Realistically, when you're starting up, either A, you buy brand new stuff.
Brand new.
Or I know people that also just jump on the used bandwagon and buy used stuff, but might start off with just the used stuff and they don't even try to get it looking up to par. In doing that, you get setting themselves up for failures.
I think there's a certain point in everything where your quality of your equipment falls underneath. It's the quality of equipment of renting out and hurting your reputation versus just selling it to somebody. There's a certain point where it's just best time to do that.
The longer you're in it, you can know what's acceptable and what's not. And also, like, what's your market? Like, how much are you selling these things at? So if you're selling for 50 cents, I mean, the people that you're selling to shouldn't care what this thing's looking like. Obviously, we're selling it for a premium price, and you want to make sure they're up to that standard.
And if it's 50 cents, something like that, make sure you put no pregnant women or grandmas on there. Because they sure gonna try to hit you with that stuff.
Boom.
Say, not allowed. You know what's always comes through? Not high maintenance. It's the ultimate checklist. Never fails, always there for you. This is the best. Say it again with me, Eddie. The best.
So good that it
Make you want to slap your mama, don't it, Willie?
Yeah, boy. Hey, mama.
What the hell you want with?
This is really good right here, help you get started. We see a lot of people who make some of the mistakes they say they read, and they're like, oh, I would have avoided so many things if I would have just read the Ultimate Checklist. It was just updated pretty recently. Make sure you go to the link, download Ultimate Checklist. It is the #1 source for rental knowledge by the Rental Boys. So make sure you download this immediately, now. Number 2 on our list is when people overestimate demand. This happens all the time. Like, Eddie, I know this gonna rent out. Like, I know it. It's too good not to rent out. It's too good. And then you rent it out and you be like, oh, what are you renting out? Plastic plates or something like that. Like, man, paper plates or something like that. You're like, he was just telling me earlier about, like, he said he's so disappointed in the grills. And he was like, we need to do something about them. And I was like, who are them? It's like, the grill.
Yeah, but that one's not too bad. It's giving us a return on our investment. But me personally, I was expecting more out of that item. But realistically, we haven't really tackled anything because I know the logic behind why we bought the grills. It's because
we need money now.
Well, no, that's not the reason. No, because we like in the wintertime, we have all these propane tanks that we use for the patio heaters. I mean, a lot of propane tanks. So we're like, well, how can we use these propane tanks in the spring and the summertime? So that's where the idea came. So, hey, let's get some flat top grills and rent those bad boys out. But just for me, like, I don't see it going out enough to justify in my heart. It just didn't meet my expectation.
So I get that. And I think there's a couple of the reasons why. First of all, I think being flat top, I guess, like, maybe threw some people off. So I wonder if that's the issue. And also, too, I don't believe we actually put a lot of dollars behind it, or really any dollars behind it. It's just once people get to the site from other stuff, like, oh, I need a grill. The grill's good. I like those flat top grills.
Yeah.
I know you've cooked on them a lot.
Only because it's there and it's convenient. And I don't want to be hauling around that big old smoker that I got.
We have these director's chairs. And this is something I can completely say. Because we had a time period where we had director's chairs going on, which sounds crazy. I know you're like, you can rent director's chairs? I'm like, yeah, that's surprising. You actually can. And it started out because Eddie did this one thing at the Kelly Clarkson show that was set up in Dallas. If you go back and look, you'll see Eddie in the corner wearing all black.
Top flight security.
Top flight security over there. You were like, dang, that's Eddie right there. Yep, he made the show.
With the mask,
With the mask on. Couldn't breathe or nothing, all that stuff. And Eddie had a hole in his mask. Didn't make no sense. And then we ended up coming up on a Facebook Marketplace one where Eddie found found all these brown,
It's a natural.
the natural ones.
Yeah.
And then we have a whole bunch of them, but we haven't bought the slips and stuff for them to put them all out there. But like even like that was surprising. Like that like met our expectation, even though technically when you think about it and you look around the area, director chairs actually do go out. It's like a different style. It's just like anytime someone's doing like a conference or talking to someone in a group setting and they want to sit up a little bit higher, it's like the perfect chair for it. And we see people use it for all different things. And I think also too, like if we were to with the grill to show people how they can use the grill more in what they're doing.
Or offer it as a package deal.
I know sometimes you got this feeling, you're like, it's too good. I gotta make money from this. We need to sit back, test it out, put it on the site, see what comes out, buy one, see a return before we put a huge investment into it. Because a lot of times we do these huge investments and then it doesn't pan back out. And sometimes work like we have like 40 or something, like 44 or 45 coolers right now. Those coolers don't go out every single weekend, but we have like 3 events throughout the year that literally takes every single cooler for some reason. And we got them specifically for those events so we can do those and do the other parts of those events. Yeah. And then we'll still see stuff will pop up with 10 coolers. I don't know why people need 10 coolers sometimes.
You like do crawfish boils and stuff like that, and they throw all the stuff in there.
Yeah, and in case they want a whole bunch of drinks
or that too. Yeah.
Yeah, and we would have been doing a lot more stuff right now with coolers.
But another thing is taking consideration like the space, the item that you get, like how much space is it taking? Because like I know right now we have the luxury that we have a pretty decent sized warehouse. But some people, like when we first started off, like when we had like storage units or even our smaller warehouse in Irving, I know the space was very limited. So just imagine like getting all these coolers and they're not going out.
We have to put chairs inside the coolers. Don't buy things especially don't buy things just because you're like, oh, this is going to rent out. Like if you haven't tested it. The easiest way to test stuff out is put it on your website. Really simple on there. See what comes back through. Then once you buy one, see how much more you have conflicts where you need to have more than one, and then make your decision based off of that. Don't make your decision off of an order that comes in and like, oh, I could have got that if I'd have had 50. Close the order and then go get it.
Yeah, another thing that you can like really mess up like the momentum of your company as well because like they're not free, so you have to buy these items, and where this item could be better. The money could better be utilized on something that actually goes out a lot. So just imagine if we drop $10,000 or $20,000 on something that all it does is collect dust.
All right. So according to industry experts, businesses lose an estimated 20 to 30% of revenue due to poor inventory management.
I 100% this right here. Remember we lost 600 chairs?
Garden?
Yeah. No, 600. We lost 600 chairs. Remember?
Oh, just regular chairs?
Yeah, regular chairs.
Yeah.
And no one knew where they were.
Yep, they just magically disappeared.
Yeah, that was terrible. I know a big thing this year is that we're trying to align what our budget is to spend on inventory. We're trying to make sure that aligns with what stuff that we actually want to get throughout the year. Because sometimes you can go spend stuff on things and you don't get the things that you want to get through the year. And I think that has happened to us a lot in the past. And that's one thing we're trying to correct this year. If you're running out items that should be going out and you're still not getting no orders, you might have ad problem. We're currently managing $41,500 a month in ad spend. We have 13 years of advertising experience under our belt.
If you want us to improve your ads,
click the link in the description and fill out the form, the whole form. Number 3, you need to avoid fragile, easily damaged items. This right here can be basically any type of items you can think of. Like if you're going to buy chairs off Wish.
And to get there, they're like, hey, it's not what I ordered.
It's the exact size. We recently we basically removed all of the wood chairs out of our whole system. Part of it is because they're high maintenance. You have to cover them, all this right here. But another reason is just that wood if it leaves in the rain, it just tears up and something happens, customer damages, it's really easy to get damaged and it's fragile. Technically, all dishware kind of fall underneath this, I would almost say.
Yeah, dishware would, but the thing that we've done to kind of counteract that is to just buy more than what we need, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So if it does break, we have them brand new in the box still, so we can just pull them out. And most of the time, we don't even charge the customer for like the damages, unless it's like was it a Greek wedding and they're like breaking all the plates, and now we're charging them. But they come with 5 or 2 broken. We're not gonna flinch on that. We're not gonna worry about it because in the damage waiver, it paid for the cost.
If you buy cheap things, you should expect for them to break. And I don't mean cheap as in cost. I mean cheap as in quality. Eddie has his bounce house at his house on there. If we tried to rent that bounce house out, Like it would break instantly. And we see some people buying bounce houses for like $200 at Sam's and then going to set up at somebody's house and tell me someone only got 2 uses out of it. Bounce houses suck.
Yeah, that's a residential one, so it's not the same quality.
Make sure you get the right quality items. And this is kind of like what you purchase stuff from, and we're kind of where the whole process. Even like right now, we're going to be looking for at chairs to purchase, and we can purchase from all different places. We're not going to just only look at price. We're going to look at also like how's the quality of the item that we can get that we can purchase from overseas to bring them over here.
Yeah,
because we don't want to be getting some wish chair, where you sit on it and like it falls apart because it was 200 pounds rated for it. That's what it said, but it was only rated for that on Mars. So Tina, let me ask you a question. What do you think currently in our warehouse right now? What's the most fragile item that's not a dishware item?
You got me. I was going to say a dishware item. I would say some of our sashes, I would say some of them have a very thin fabric, kind of like.
Dang.
Well, this one is see-through, but it looks good because, you clump it together and it looks nice. But a sash, when you fold it into a chair, if it looks a bit thin, it just gives that appearance that it's.
Yeah. So let me talk to you about this, the pipe and drape stuff. I already know Eddie. I was like, I can see through them. We're gonna get this. We're gonna get this fixed. The poles are good though.
Oh yeah, the poles are great.
The poles are good. I haven't cracked the pipe and drape on back part yet.
I already know what it is. It's all about GSM. GSM is the thread count.
God send money.
GSM is basically how thin or how thick it is.
Yeah. So I'm guessing it's
the thicker. You're not gonna see through that, boy.
Yeah. So we'll be chaining that. But that's one of the things we were working on this year too. We're gonna get some pipe and drape things that aren't see through. But like for all those reveal parties, you can see the outline. You can make a little thing. But you put enough of them together, and this thing's supposed to have 4 of them to 6 of them on here. But whatever. I guess you would need less on them. So we'll keep you updated on that. But that's something too that's fragile, damage items, and we're trying to just pass the time on there. So when you be cheap, you get cheap.
Okay, so actually, I might have an even better example that isn't linen. It's not really an item we run out, but it's something that comes with an item we run out. So our speakers, we have these stands, and for some reason, whenever you put the speakers on them, it's like they still rock.
There's a screw that goes in there where that pipe goes in. If he doesn't back that screw out before he shoves it in there, it's going to be teeter-tottering on the actual screw, and it doesn't go all the way in.
Okay, I think that's what it was then, because, when I was looking at that, I was like, oh, that's crazy.
That's improper use.
Tina said, why would they rent this? What's wrong with them? So, Tina, hit me with a statistic.
73% of customers indicated that they will be unlikely to purchase from a company again if their items arrived damaged.
Dang.
Yeah, and so that was interesting thing we did this year. We brought on this one new position, and we won't be a full-time position all year round, but we brought on a person that just does maintenance and repairs, because usually it was just Eddie doing all the stuff on there. And then having someone that can come do the repairs, even if they're not the fastest person or whatever, it just made a big difference. And especially as somebody who can do it on a per item basis or something like that, you can do pretty well with that. Because realistically, customers don't like seeing damage stuff, because they think it's going to happen over and over again. And that's like our thing this year. Like, we're trying to, these little things is the stuff that get people to come back. Like, how can you make sure that each time your stuff goes out, that person tells another person about you? And I think that's the goal for us this year. It's really harping down on getting people to refer us back more and more on a regular basis. We already get referrals now, but we want to celebrate that. Put gasoline on the fire. One thing that helps you stay in control?
What's that?
Zenbusines. If you're looking for LLC or looking to incorporate your business, check out Zenbusines. Really simple and easy to set up, and you don't have to worry about a lot of the issues you had before. And on top of that, too, native Dallas resident run this thing, is one of the big sponsors, Mark Cuban. So he's down, we down. Join Zenbusines. Great, cheap, straight out the thing, and get everything set up. Works well in Texas, and I know it works in Florida. I'm not saying it works everywhere, but I think it's pretty good. So check it out and check links down in the description. It'll really help us out. The last thing on is seasonal and trend dependent items. We have 4 seasons, but technically 2 seasons are basically the same. Our spring and our fall are busy. Our summer is kind of like a normal time, I would say, because it's hot here. If you haven't seen, it gets like 110 degrees here over the summer. But then in the winter, it gets cold. It'd be like, at 110 I told you, it'd be just 10. And that is not fun out here. It won't even snow. You get no payoff. You just be cold and windy for no reason, and then it'll rain all during this time. You don't want to make your whole business off of just seasonal or trendy items. Because I remember for a while there was a trend going on, which I would say like silver chairs. And I feel like we've literally at first when we first started, people were kind of into the whole silver trail. I'm not saying not now. I've seen somebody send a quest on there, but I see a lot less now. You just don't want to go drop if 90% of your budget on patio heaters when it's cold here for 2 months. You want to have some here, but you don't want to have 90% of your whole budget set towards that. I know for us this year, we spent some money going into this we bought some patio heaters. We bought some of these other space tent heaters, what we call them, but they really bazooka heaters. And then we bought sidewalls, which is the first time ever we bought sidewalls going into the winter. That was just our winter stuff. And we just doing this to prepare for winter. Now in the summer, what do we used to buy in the summer?
Yeah, grills or like snow cone machines.
Snow cone machines.
One took off, grew legs and took off. So I think we have one left. What else do we buy?
The 27-foot slide.
Stuff like that.
The 27-foot slide.
No.
The
I
slippery
forgot.
slides.
The coolers. Yeah.
The coolers kind of go out even. They kind of are a year-round thing. I was surprised by that. And then I think maybe we'll do a mist thing this year. See how that works. We were to rent out the regular mister, cost like $2,000 something or whatever it costs. Now, if we were to rent out the thing you get from Disney that sprays and shoots, you see like that's not gonna work. You think it will?
Well, actually, no. I actually had a example of a trendy item that you would probably not see get rented out anymore. When the Barbie movie came out, everyone was wanting freaking Barbie box, like a life-size Barbie box to have at their party. And I did see a couple of event rental companies, they ended up making it out of wood or whatever. And honestly, now the trend is over and no one wants it anymore. And now you just have this big, giant box taking up your inventory.
You don't want to put everything down and go make 17 Barbie things out of it. And then 3 months later, it's all over. You have to really just watch out for trendy stuff. That's the biggest point. Because that's going to be stuff you don't rent out, you're going to waste a lot of money on, and you're looking back at it a little crazy, like, why did you tell me to buy that? I'm going to hit y'all with this bonus one right here. Now, we're going to do bonus right. We're going to go around. It's 3 of us in here. It's 4 of us, Stephen, but he don't count today. We're going to each put down what items we hate the most to rent.
This is an item that I think is going to go with one of the trendy items that may not be in use in the future years. And you guys are not going to like this. I would have to say marquee letters. I just think they'll look tacky in a couple years and no one would want them.
Well, you're probably going to lose that one. Marquee letters been around for like 20 years. We will see.
Okay.
You want to bet on it?
I'm gonna give another item because this is probably my number one item, if not that one. This is if you live in anywhere that has any type of wind at all. I'll say pop-up tents. I just don't like pop-up tents. I think they break too easy. They're not as sturdy as our pole tents, and yeah.
You'll lose that one too. That one, pop-up tents been around for hundreds of years. Okay.
I didn't say they're trendy, but it's just something that I think would be too high maintenance because if you do break a pop-up tent, if it's not a screw that got lost, you would basically have to replace the whole thing because it will just...
Well, you can technically replace almost everything on there. But I get your point, though. Yeah. I get what you're saying. The worst item possible to rent for me. Well, if you'd have asked me 2 years ago, it'd have been tents. Not 2 years. Like, as soon as I met Eddie, it would have been tents. We rented out a wooden subfloor where we put the wood subfloor. I actually liked it, but I seen from enough complaints from other people to realize that it was not a good setup of how it was done. I seen someone rent out mini fridges, and like I don't understand that. Like I'm kind of even skeptical about fridges. I know that sounds crazy. I don't know how I'm thinking about this, but I was thinking one day like, what if we rented out mini fridges? And then I didn't see anyone do that, and I thought that might be a bad idea. Actually, it's kind of hard 'cause I don't really know anything that won't rent it out if you do the right situation.
Like the white bounce houses, like for like weddings and stuff like that.
Yeah,
that's what I would choose.
That would be like crazy to clean. That'd be high maintenance.
Clean, and then it's not gonna go out all the time. God forbid you want some kids in that thing because you're gonna have shoe marks even though you told them no shoes.
I think the only way you can use that bounce house is literally maybe just a photo thing where you just you have someone they take photos. I'm not saying I know somebody's gonna be like, oh, you can clean it, it's not that hard. I understand that, but looking inside out, it looks like it will be very difficult to clean, and they'll get stained a lot. Like people's blue jeans, it'll be blue jeans all over the place if they're wearing blue jeans, or if they have some dye in their hair or something, or if a kid start bleeding, that would be terrible. That's actually probably one of the worst things to rent out. I feel like you would have to charge so much, and you would have to limit what people can do. You have to be just a photo thing, like a prop in a photo. I believe.
Yeah.
Now, if you have a white bounce house, please prove us wrong.
So nearly 8% of surplus stock globally will ultimately end up as waste, with about 163 billion of inventory tossed annually.
Yeah, we need to make better decisions on what we buy as a community. We can't be wasting this much money. But this must be worldwide across all stuff. Because I don't think the rental market is even this big.
No,
I don't think the rental market is even this big.
It's across all markets.
'Cause the rental market
Somebody's
is
getting fired. They're like, you bought too much of that
Bought too
stuff.
much. What's wrong with you?
You
Like,
really can't consume that
it's like,
much.
I accidentally put 3 zeros on it. But yeah, but let's get into the rental rundown.
First question that I have for you guys is, why should I consider the setup and maintenance process necessary to rent out specific rental items?
We had a consultation not too long ago, and then one of the gentlemen that we talked to had a list of how long it takes for each one of the items to get set up, and that's how he was able to determine price. Because based on the setup and then the teardown, it's going to depend on how much you profit from it based on your price, and then how much it costs you to do it.
You want to know how much everything's going to cost you. That way you can either say yay or nay on each specific task or projects that you got in the future.
If you're one of those people who do a whole bunch of rentals at once, you really don't want to be stopping the flow by stopping and having to stay there for 20, 30 minutes and vice versa over and over. Because then you're going to slow down the day too. So if you're trying to like get through it really fast and you don't have a very high average cost of order, your average order isn't that high, then this is just going to slow you down. Now, the reason why you might not have an average cost of order because you don't have anything that requires setup too. So that could be, the other reason.
The second question that I have for you guys is, what are the best rental items to rent out with minimum setup and operation needed?
I don't know. I would say maybe a table.
Table,
It's
yeah.
super easy to set up and
Table, chairs.
maintenance. So.
You have black chairs, you probably can, if they don't put in the mud, you can almost go forever without cleaning them technically. I'm not saying that you should do that. And I know one person told us it's illegal not to clean chairs. They ain't no law based on that. Without any maintenance. Only maintenance you would have is just pick it up, take it to the next place.
Yeah.
So tables, chairs, easily, especially a black table. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you need any help with your ads, please reach out to us in the links below. And also, too, if you're looking at getting the ultimate checklist, get the link down below and get the ultimate checklist. Thank you guys again for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. And I'm Xavier Kelly.
I'm Eddie Sauceda.
And we are the Rental Boys. And we'll see you in the next one.
And if you like this video and would like to see more of our long form podcasts, please click this link right here.
Please subscribe.